Now I know what you're thinking. Not another list of habits that promises to turn me into a morning person who drinks kale smoothies while doing yoga on a mountaintop. Well, fear not, friend. These are down-to-earth habits that genuinely changed my life, and waking up at 5 a.m. is nowhere on this list. In 2023, I decided to experiment with myself. I created a strong morning routine filled with the habits that I knew were good for me and that I should be doing, but that I really wasn't doing. And I added them slowly over time so I didn't overwhelm myself. Because in the past, I'd get all motivated, I'd go to do all these habits, and then I'd fall off the wagon inevitably. It's like the New Year's resolution phenomenon. 80% of people, 80% of us have given up on our resolutions by the end of January. It's a staggering number. Now, in experimenting and sticking to these habits through this last year, I was really shocked at just how much better I felt and how much better my life became. I lost over 55 pounds. I generated more money in my business, and an unexpected side effect, I really didn't expect this, was that my manifestation game improved dramatically. And it wasn't easy. Some days I'd fall off the wagon. Plenty of days I was hiding under the covers and didn't want to get up. But every day I would wake up and get out of bed and commit myself to trying again and again until I finally got all of these to stick and all of them to become habits. And in this video, I want to share with you 5 of the most powerful habits I follow every day, along with the benefits that I experienced, some scientific evidence that kind of explains and backs that up, and some tips along the way for sticking to them, how I actually got these habits to stick. Now, some of these habits may be incredibly obvious to you, but stick with me and check it out, because in practicing and researching these, I found there was a whole host of benefits that I didn't know about, and you may not know either. And knowing all of these benefits, especially the scientifically backed benefits, really helped me to be motivated to stay on track. So I challenge you to watch this video, to commit again and again to building and becoming your best version so that you can then create and live the life that you want, to doing these boring things that lead to the dream life, to setting your future self up for success instead of failure. The first habit is meditation. And now wait, before you skip over this section, did you know there are over 100 scientifically proven benefits to meditation for your mind and your body, and I'll leave a link in the description to that list, that comprehensive list. But this is what I would consider the second most powerful habit that I've implemented in my life, and in how it's affected me and improved my quality of life. I experience less anxiety, and the studies show a reduction of 31% on average. I experience less depression. I definitely feel more content. I feel more peaceful, and less in that negative kind of ruminating space that I can get into. And the studies also corroborate this with a 46% reduction on average in depression. You don't have to meditate for hours on end to get these benefits. That's the really surprising fact, is studies show even 5 to 10 minutes will give you these benefits, and it's a great way to get started on the path of meditation. Now, I've also struggled with addiction in my life, to drugs, to foods, to various things. Anything that lights up dopamine, I can get addicted to it. And when I meditate every day, that addictive quality gets turned down, and it's much easier for me to make better decisions for myself. And again, with the science, there was a study of alcoholics, and they found that when they practiced meditation every day, they had lower stress levels, lower alcohol cravings, and lower alcohol use. And these are like hardcore alcoholics, just taking them through meditation. Now, if you don't try any of the other habits in this video, I would absolutely recommend at least trying meditation, because as you meditate more and more, it's going to make it so much easier to implement all the other positive changes in your life, as it's going to increase your discipline and your mental willpower. It literally changes the structure of your brain in a positive way when you meditate. And I recommend starting with 1 to 5 minutes of meditation a day to get yourself established and kind of enmeshed in the habit. And then as it becomes a habit after 2 weeks or so, you can start slowly adding a minute a day until you get up to that 15-20 minute sweet spot. Now, there are a surprising number of benefits to the second habit, and that is walking in nature. I committed to walking every day in nature last year, and thankfully where I live, there's lots of parks and forests with trails, so I'm able to get the benefits of walking combined with the benefits of nature exposure, because it's both things together. Walking gives you a set of great benefits, but then being exposed to green spaces in nature also gives you benefits. So by combining the two, you get the synergy of them. Now here's some of the key benefits on screen, and these are backed by scientific studies. And even if you don't have any nature available, just walking outside is so good for the body, the mind, and the soul. I found my mind was calmer and quieter, that I have access to more creativity, and I was losing weight because, surprising fact, you burn more fat walking than running as a percentage of calories expended. It's very interesting. You should look it up because it's true. I can't describe how good it feels though, doing this every day, and it lets me feel happiness and joy, which was something missing in my experience for so many years through a lot of the dark times in my life. And for walking, again, like meditation, I like starting small. Start with 10 or 15 minutes a day. Let it become a habit first. Then you can start adding the intensity. 30 minutes or more is when the fat burning effect really kicks in, if that's your goal while you're walking. Now, habit number 3. This one's probably the most obvious and overlooked, and that is getting good sleep. Now, before you skip ahead, hear me out here. Getting good sleep is the most important habit that you can create. It's my number 1 habit. It literally affects every aspect of your body and mind. And I think too often we can fall into a trap of not sleeping enough, drinking caffeine to stay awake during the day, but then you're so jacked up on caffeine that you can't go to sleep at night. And that's what used to happen to me. I had to cut my caffeine intake down because it became a vicious cycle. And not getting enough sleep is linked with 7 of the 15 leading causes of death in the United States. This is no joke. Like, sleep is like super important. So many of us struggle with anxiety, depression, unstable emotions. And I wonder just how much of that is how our modern society has ruined sleep. You know, we all know this, but using a cell phone in bed while you're trying to go to sleep is one of the worst things that you can do, but we all do it, right? It's because the light from the phone messes up your circadian rhythm and it ends up waking you up, but it also leads to you producing less melatonin, which is the sleep hormone. It does other things, and when you're exposed to that light at night, you're not generating melatonin and you keep resetting that circadian rhythm. So one important thing I did, a huge tip that really helped, was I started charging my phone on the opposite end of my bedroom. That was the only way I could sever that habit of looking at the phone in bed until 2 in the morning and my arms are tired. Plus, when my phone alarm goes off in the morning, I gotta get out of bed because I have to go turn it off because I'm not gonna sit there listening to it squawk all morning. I also started wearing earplugs because I found that noises were keeping me awake or waking me up. So having the earplugs really helped to control the sound. And you know, my wife and I made our bedroom very dark so that when nighttime comes and we're ready to go to sleep, we cut off all the sources of light so it's able to be as dark as possible. And I also committed to going to bed earlier and getting up earlier. Not 5 a.m., I'm sticking to my promise in the beginning, but it took me a month to get into the rhythm of going to bed earlier and getting up earlier, but I really felt there was improvements in my mental health and my body. And science shows us that having that consistent sleep schedule, not staying up until 3 a.m. on the weekends and going to bed normally during the week, but keeping a consistent set sleep schedule is really powerful in giving your body the full benefits of restful and restorative sleep and keeping your circadian rhythm on point. Now, this next habit helped me lose weight, feel better, have more energy, and cut out the brain fog. I used to get brain fog moments every day where I would just feel lethargic, tired, need to take a nap. So I started a habit of good nutrition, vitamins, and supplements. And before you skip ahead thinking, oh yeah, eat better, obviously. Yeah, a lot of these are obvious, but it's things we don't do. And it wasn't until I really committed to doing the obvious things that all these benefits came in. You know, I lost 55 pounds last year by doing this. My skin looks better, I feel better, and I have so much more energy. And I've noticed improvements in my mental health now that I'm cleaning up my nutrition, diet, and supplement game. It's really shocking when you look into it, but in America at least, the majority of us are deficient in so many things, like the big ones, vitamin D, magnesium, potassium, B vitamins, and more. And when we're not only deficient in these key vitamins and minerals, but we're also eating foods that are terrible for us, like ultra-processed corn syrup, food additives, ultra-processed carbohydrates. It's no wonder that we all struggle with so much with our mental and physical health, because we're eating garbage and we don't have enough of the good stuff to counteract it. One key example, having too much omega-6, having an imbalance of omega-6 to omega-3 will literally make you feel like crap. It can cross the blood-brain barrier into your brain and make you feel like shit. And those oils are seed oil. Those seed oils are way high on the omega-6 and low on the omega-3. So the ratio is out of proportion. So that's just, one example of something that literally you will eat it and you will feel worse afterwards. It's why like stuff like restaurant food and fast food will be so heavy and make you feel like crap, because they don't use quality oils. So I committed to researching what a proper human diet should look like, what the key vitamins and supplements were, getting interested in watching videos about that, and I started sticking to that. Now, I think you could find success with any diet that has proven to be healthy. And for me, I've had big success with the keto carnivore diet. That's how I get the most weight loss, and that's how I feel the best and I have the most energy. I think going vegan is another good diet, provided that you get the vitamins and minerals that you're gonna be missing from the animal meats and the animal fats. I'm also a huge fan of the low carb version of the Mediterranean diet. There is science backing up all three of these diets as being good for you, good for your health, your mind, and your body. Now, in starting to implement the habit of good nutrition, I recommend first eliminating the unhealthy foods, eliminating all oils except olive oil, avocado oil, butter, and ghee. That is where a lot of the unhealthiness comes from, those seed oils. Cutting back on sugar, just blanket statement. Cutting back on highly processed carbohydrates because they spike your insulin and your blood sugar and lead to a vicious cycle of insulin resistance, which can lead you to be pre-diabetic, etc. Now, once you cut out some of the bad things, then it's time to start adding in the good practices, which is increasing your protein intake, whether you're plant or meat-based. Going organic if you can afford it, because you're going to cut out the pesticides. Eating wild-caught fish, grass-fed meats. Starting with eliminating the bad things will give you some noticeable improvements, give you some space to breathe in your body and your mind. Then start adding those healthier good things, which is really going to boost your energy and boost where you're at. This last habit helped me in so many unexpected ways, and that is the habit of learning. And hear me out here. For me, that looked like reading books every day. It's one of the easiest ways to implement a learning habit, because here's the thing: when you learn new things, your brain makes new connections between the neurons that are the neural network of your brain. And with these new connections, your brain will quite literally process everything in your life differently. You can get new perspectives, new insights, and new creative ideas just from learning new things. And science shows us that the act of physically reading a book stimulates multiple centers of the brain and grows white matter. Now, I found that when I read every day and when I practiced learning different skills in general, kind of sounds funny, but my brain was more satisfied in a way. I had less of a craving for scrolling on my phone, less of a craving for watching Netflix. It really increased my motivation and ability to perform other tasks in my life. And I think along with meditation, reading and learning every day really helps to strengthen the focus and attention parts of the brain, which we could all use nowadays with how our modern society is. And at least that's how I experienced it. Now, what I did to get myself in this habit was I put a bookshelf in my bathroom. Now look, I'm the only one reading the books, okay? So it's not that gross, okay? Calm down, everybody, calm down. So every time I'm in the bathroom, I would reach for a book instead of the phone. And over time, that became the habit. Every time I go to the bathroom, grab a book, start reading it. Then I'd get so engrossed in the books that I'd continue reading the book in my office or in bed as I started to get hooked. Now, one key with implementing any new habits or making any personal change, growth, or development is identity shifting. It's about changing your internal identity, how you think, feel, act, and believe, to align with the version of self that would live the life that you want to live, to where it's natural for that version of you to do the things that you know are good but still struggle sticking to. If you check out this video, I go deeper on identity shifting. It's one of the tools that I implemented to get into all these habits, to create so much positive change in my life, and I use the same technique and principle to create my six-figure IT business, so all these computers are. But in any case, I hope you guys choose to make it a great day, and much peace to you, my friend.